Hello and welcome to Sick Notes. My name's Ed Hope. I'm a junior doctor and a teaching fellow in the UK. And on this channel, we talk about everything to do with medicine, the human body, what it's like to be a doctor, and we break it all down in simple terms. So a little bit ago on my community feed and on Instagram and things, I challenged you to see if you could decode what it was like to be a doctor. Now, the first one, which I'll leave a link to up here, you guys did really well. So let's see if you can have a go at this one. And your replies, they cracked me up. So what I posed you was 62M, A/W, CCP, and SOB, PMHX, IHD, HTN, AF, DXNOAC, ACE, I, OD, NKDA, PFSH, smoker, 40PY, nil ETOH, good ET. And I'm going to give you 1 point for decoding it, 1 point for a differential diagnosis. What does it all mean? So this could easily be a kind of little patient summary that might appear in a handover sheet or something like that. So let's see what you guys thought it might be. I feel like the teacher just announced a test I did not study for. I just spring these things on you and you have to try and do well. Well-behaved alien, good ET. That's what it stands for. Good little alien. 62-year-old with an annoying wife. That's not what A/W stands for. Cheshire cat phobia and shockingly obese. Premenstrual hearing loss combined with intermittent humping disorder. Wants a hot nurse. I'm flattered. These may well be true, but that's not what's in the handover sheet. This is actually the smartest and most interesting creator to audience interaction I've seen on YouTube. Oh, thanks, Jasper. Nice one. I diagnose you with pocket texting disease. The cure is turning off your phone. It does look like that. But genuinely, if you showed that to a medical professional, they'd pretty much read it quicker than they could read it in a sentence. Bethany says CCP and SOB, cold cut pork and sobbing. Someone is crying into the ham sandwich. Fortunately, a pretty fresh smoker named Etal, who has smoked 40 packs so far this year, not far off on that one, was like, not to worry, I know an alien that can help you. Good ET. There's nothing to do with the alien. Okay, so he is a 62-year-old male who came in with chronic chest pain and shortness of breath. Not far off. He has high blood pressure. He has no known drug allergies. Very good. He has an irregular rapid heartbeat. Not necessarily rapid, but yeah, I know what you're saying. This is pretty damn good. So maybe someone with a little bit of medical background. You guys are just amazing. I will go out with no points again, but it's really interesting to see what kind of code medical professionals use to make communications easier. Is that the reason? Yeah, people have done really well looking at these. I guess it is to make it easier, also quicker when you're sort of writing notes. A typical response in a Starbucks or Subway when you just ask for a cafe sandwich. That's pretty much true, right? I had a friend that basically said a Subway challenge is when you go into Subway and have to order everything without getting asked a question. You have to preempt everything they say. Catalina Diaz absolutely smashed it. I like that. Anna Stroy says, and through my thorough analysis of this baffling code, I have finally reached a conclusion. I have no clue. Through the Sky has a similar response. Number 1, decoding it. Who knows? Number 2, he's that wouldn't do for a patient summary. Voiced, it's lupus. That's right. Big fan of House. Actually, House says never lupus. I feel sorry for all my friends who are planning on studying medicine at uni. Imagine having to memorize all this. Might as well be speaking another language. People say that a lot, actually, but yeah, I guess you do end up speaking another language, but it ends up coming very naturally to you, actually. I want to try whatever you're smoking. I'm smoking the reefer of medicine. Well, since they are smoker, it's most presumably related with the lungs or heart. Absolutely right. I like that logic. Risk factors, very important in diagnosing. 62-year-old male, shortness of breath and chest pain. Pretty good. Heart disease in his medical history, very good. Smoker, no alcohol in his system. No clue on the rest. Yeah, but that's putting it together. That's the building blocks of the diagnosis. Adam Moe says, you have been diagnosed with same shirt syndrome, where one wears the same shirt in all situations. I'm not wearing it today. So I'm cleared of the syndrome. Breaking news, a local doctor fakes medical license and forces internet audience to do differential diagnosis for him. I've been figured out. Obviously, I've looked at the funnier things. Loads of you got it. Well done if you did. I'm going to look at Kumar Shilvans and talk about it. So we have a 62-year-old male, exactly, that's the 62M, admitted with, that's the AW, CCP, cardiac chest pain. So there's lots of causes of chest pain, but anything that's crushing, central, that radiates to the arm or jaw, that's what we're thinking of, more cardiac sounding. And SOB isn't son of a, it's short of breath. PMHX is past medical history, so what's going on in the patient's medical background. So that can be really important to figure out risk factors, what's going on. So HTN stands for hypertension, so a risk factor for heart disease. Ischemic heart disease, so that means problems with the blood vessels of the heart. AF stands for atrial fibrillation, so that's a type of irregular heartbeat, and that predisposes people to strokes because when your heart isn't beating efficiently, it can have form little clots can pool in the heart and they can be sent off around the body, and if they go to the head can cause a stroke. So that's why in the drug history, that's what the DX is for, but it should really say DH, so I made a little bit of a mistake there. NOAC stands for a novel oral anticoagulant. So because they've got AF, so because they're likely to throw clots out, which could go to the brain and cause a stroke, we put them on medications to help thin their blood. So that's what a NOAC is. An ACE-I, which is an ACE inhibitor, and OD stands for once a day. So they're on an ACE inhibitor. And the reason why that is because that's a treatment for hypertension, which is also in the medical history. NKDA stands for no known drug allergy. So it's really important if someone comes in and they're unwell that we know if they're allergic to anything, because if we give them a medication that they have an allergy to, will make things much worse. PFUSH stands for past family and social history, because this can be a risk factor again for different illnesses. So we know they're a smoker, and the 40PY is 40 pack years. So one pack year is if you smoke 20 cigarettes a day for a year. That'd be one pack year. So this person has got 40 pack years. So that could be in different ways, but it's probably something like they smoke 20 a day, but they've done it for 40 years. No ETOH means they don't drink alcohol. And good ET stands for nothing to do with the alien. It's good exercise tolerance. So despite all these kind of problems with the heart, they're still able to be fairly healthy. So they're fairly well managed. So that's it decoded. But what's the diagnosis? So we know someone here, they've got heart disease. So problems wrong with the coronary arteries of the heart. We know this because they've got ischemic heart disease. That's what ischemic heart disease is. They've got hypertension as well, which is a risk factor for ischemic heart disease. And also they've got a large sort of smoking history, 40 pack years. So all of these, we know that there's likely to be problems with the blood vessels of the heart, and particularly because they come in with cardiac sounding chest pain and shortness of breath. So our working diagnosis at this point has to be acute coronary syndrome. So this is where we get a narrowing of the blood vessel, normally because we get the blood clotting, so a thrombus forming. So if the narrowing is just a mild narrowing, the heart, none of the tissue of the heart will actually die. It will just get very painful as it's being deprived of oxygen. This is what we call unstable angina. If, however, the block is significant and the heart continues to be starved of oxygen, the actual muscle of the heart will die. This is what we call a myocardial infarction, or commonly termed a heart attack. So that's really what we want to be ruling out in this gentleman. So one of the first videos I did is pretty embarrassing. I talked a little bit about what myocardial infarction is. I'll put a link to up there. And also just the other week, I posed you another sort of teaser for you. So check out the community tab, but I'll flash it up on the screen here so you can have a quick look through. And if anything springs to mind that you might know what this means, again, 1 point for decoding, 1 point for diagnosing. See how you get on. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you soon.